This is Robert J. LeBlanc, the writer of today's episode, The Angel, and you're listening to Gather by the Ghostlight.
All right, welcome back to Gather by the Ghostlight. I'm Jonathan Cook, your host, producer, and sometimes voice actor on this thing.
And I'm Devin McSherry, the Robin to Jonathan's Batman.
Wow,
Yes.
There it is. All right, I know it's the middle of summer, but we are about to give you some chills with a new audio play written by Robert J. LeBlanc.
Yes, Robert J. LeBlanc is a playwright, actor, improver, the co-founder of the comedy ensemble, Balderdash Academy, and today you will hear his play, The Angel.
You're about to meet a man named Jack. Jack has a terrible secret. He's stuck with no way out until a chance meeting with a stranger in a deserted subway station gives him everything he asked for.
Bum-bum-bum.
Now, gather around the Ghostlight, sit back and enjoy. This is The Angel, written by Robert J. LeBlanc.
And be sure to stick around after the story to hear an interview with the playwright.
Man, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Jesus,
It makes a hell of a mess.
I didn't see you there.
Yeah, I figured. Most people don't kill themselves with an audience, you know.
I wasn't gonna kill myself. I just got distracted, that's all.
Didn't look like you were distracted. Looks like you were pretty focused. Seems to me like you were set on riding that third rail out of here.
It's not like that.
Well, it's something. What the hell happened to you to put you here?
I don't have any money for you, all right?
Who said anything about money? I don't need any money. I have everything I need down here. So what are you doing? What, are you down on your luck or something?
I'm not gonna talk to a stranger about it. I'm definitely not gonna talk to you about it.
All right. Be hostile, asshole. Take a step if you want. It's a hell of a way to go, though. You know, it doesn't kill you all at once. It freezes you to it, locks up your muscles, sets you on fire. You start to burn.
Jesus.
It's a hell of a way to go, buddy. There are easier ways.
What are you, some kind of expert?
I've been down here long enough. I see what's going on. I've seen people jump in front of trains. I've seen suicides, overdoses, murder. I've seen rage and anxiety, depression. I've seen the helpless, the hopeless. I've seen good people. I've seen evil.
I wasn't gonna kill myself. I just needed some time to think.
Think? Yeah, I get it. You just had that look in your eye, you know? Like you want to hurt someone. I just figured that someone was you. But no, it isn't, is it?
Back off, man.
No. You want to hurt someone else, don't you? Maybe you already have.
Back off! Maybe you're right. Maybe I do want to hurt someone. Isn't that enough to leave me alone?
Okay, I get the picture. I get it, man. Trust me. I've seen a lot of shit. I've had a rough life myself.
So what? You're gonna try to help me by saying that I have some sort of perfect life? Are you gonna try to convince me that just because I made better choices than you, that I somehow have it all? That my pain doesn't matter?
What the hell are you talking about? Like, fuck you and your better choices. And what type of sick fuck one-ups hardship? Look, buddy, there is enough pain in the world to go around without trying to corner the market on it. Give me some friggin' credit. Just because I had a rough life doesn't mean that you haven't. Trust me, there's enough pain to go around. It's not pie. You want a slice of hurt? Fucking take it.
I didn't mean.
Oh, like hell you didn't.
I didn't mean to.
You've been here for 10 minutes. 2 trains have already come by and you're still standing here. Are you running away? What's going on?
I needed to think. I'm in a bad way. I just figured I'd have some time alone here. I didn't mean to bother you.
You're not bothering me, buddy. If you haven't noticed, I don't have a lot going on down here.
The police don't bother you?
What police? They don't come. They don't check down here. We're about as alone as we can be. Just me and you.
Is that a threat?
It's an answer.
I should be going.
She cheated on you, didn't she?
What did you say?
She cheated on you. You came home and caught her. Things got out of hand, and you what? Hurt her?
I didn't mean to do anything. You don't know what you're talking about.
I was close, though, wasn't I? You didn't hurt her. You killed her.
Who are you? What did you see?
Calm down. I didn't see nothing. The way I figured it, there are only a handful of reasons why you'd be acting this way. I picked the easiest one.
This conversation is over. I'm leaving. What the hell are you doing? Get your hands off
You ain't
me.
leaving. At least not without me.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Tell me, did you really do it?
You really want to know?
I already know. I just want to hear it from you. I won't tell no one. You did, didn't you?
I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident. Oh, God, you gotta believe me. It was an accident. Jesus, I need to get out of here.
You're going nowhere. I have something you want. No. I have something you need.
What, like drugs?
Do I look like a pusher, asshole?
Have you seen yourself lately? That's exactly what you look like.
All right, I'll give you that. No, not drugs.
You don't have anything I need, buddy. Unless you're offering to take the rap from me, you have nothing.
Oh, really? Huh. You want absolution? You want forgiveness? You want a way out? What if I said that whatever you want, I got it? Anything you need, I can get it for you.
And how are you supposed to do that?
I'm willing to give you whatever you want, whatever your heart desires. It could be yours. All I need from you is a price.
You can't do shit for me. It's already too late.
Hypothetically, what would you give, huh? What would you give for me to just take it all away and make it better? Would you give me your happiness? Would you give me your firstborn like in some fairy tale? Would you give me your soul? Hey, whatever you offer, I'll take. I got nothing else here. Except money. I have enough money.
Buddy, if you can make it go away, I'd give it all.
Don't doubt it. I accept your offer.
What the hell are you gonna do for me? Take the rap? You'd really do that for me?
Maybe I could. This state don't got a death penalty. 3 square meals and a roof over my head don't sound too bad, does it?
I guess it doesn't.
Here, drink on it.
You do that for me. You take the heat, make it right. You do that.
Take your pain away? Yes, I'd do that.
For what? What could I give you?
You've already given me everything I need.
Maybe we could do this. It was a mistake. I never meant to hurt her.
Of course you didn't. It'll be okay. I'll take care of everything.
What are you, some kind of angel?
Sure, let's go with that. And Jack?
Wait, how do you know my name?
Mind the gap.
What? No!
That was The Angel, written by Robert J. LeBlanc. It was performed by Antonio Scales as Jack and Krys Bailey as the man. All right, so with us now is the writer of the story you just heard. He's a playwright, he's an improver, a stage actor, a voice actor, an artist, a graphic designer, co-founder of the comedy ensemble Balderdash Academy, and he's also the executive producer and owner of Sleuths Mystery Entertainment. That was a very bio full of creative achievements. Robert J. LeBlanc, thanks for being here with us.
Thanks for having me. You know, I made my career out of basically agreeing to do things and figuring out how to do it on the way. So,
Sounds like it's
I
working.
have credits.
Very cool. So you have done a lot in your creative career. Tell us how you got started in theater and all these other creative things you do.
So theater came to me organically from owning a video camera. So it was the late 80s and early 90s. I moved from my home in northern Massachusetts to Maine. And in the summer, my friends from Mass would come up and we'd shoot videos in the summer that I would then edit. We'd script and edit, and then we'd release them just to friends and family. So that kind of got me hooked in writing and performing and producing and basically being the one person who can do everything when it comes to creative endeavor. And we move on. I was in high school. I was still shooting videos with my local friends in Maine, and then they needed a video for Grease. In the drive-in scene, they wanted to show a 1950 style werewolf movie. So I made the movie, and nobody in the theater knew how to run the TV and VCR. So I volunteered, and I never left.
That seems to happen to a lot of theater people, is they get sucked into one project and they're like, well, this is fun.
It was
doing
amazing.
it forever.
It was amazing. And then a year and a half after, I got hired in my first professional acting job with Mystery Cafe out of Boston. I was performing in the main cast and stayed in that industry on top of everything else for now 32 years. I own the company, and actually one of my clients happens to be the company that hired me originally. So yeah, it's in my brain, it was a logical conclusion.
Very nice. Now, you're on today as a playwright, but this is not the first time people have heard your voice on here. You're a voice actor.
I am. Yeah.
You were in we did an episode called Wheel of Fortune Reversed by Scott C. Sickles. You did some voice acting on that episode. And then also you did Adult Lucas in the play Recess by Kara Emily Krantz.
Yeah.
So it's good to have you here as a writer this time.
It's good to be here as a writer to kind of, show my range.
Yes, such a wide
All
range.
over, yeah.
So the play that everyone just heard, it's called The Angel. And I love the way that this play unfolds, how you discover things along the way with these two characters. So tell us how this one kind of formed in your head and your writing process for it.
I am a member of a club in Portland, Maine called Crowbait. And it is actually the Crowbait Playwriting Deathmatch. And every month you're given a theme, and then you have to write a 10-minute show based on that theme. And we had just been given the theme misinformation. So driving home from Crowbait, it was about an hour drive. I live in northern Massachusetts. The death match happens in Portland. And so driving home, I just let my mind wander. And about halfway home, I turned on a voice recorder and I improvised the entire show.
Oh wow. So one shot, you had it all?
One shot. The entire play from start to finish took 35 minutes.
Wow.
I went home and I sat on it and I did not touch that recording for 2 weeks. Because you shouldn't. Like, once you have a burst, in my opinion, once you have that burst of creativity, you need to be able to address it with a new lens, with a fresh mind.
Yeah.
So I sat on it for 2 weeks, popped it in, listened to it, and then I started writing with that playing in the background. It is almost an exact transcription.
Wow.
Because of that, I guessed it wouldn't win Crowbait because I'm like, it's too easy. That month that we returned, that my play was selected, I randomly picked the cast out of a bag. I had 2 minutes to explain to them what the show was about. And then they went on as a cold performance, script in hand, on stage. It came in under 10 minutes, and at the end of the night, the audience picked that show as the winner of that crowbait. And I knew at that point that I had something.
Very nice.
That's really cool. So, as you've said, you have been part of a mystery company for a long time. You've done a lot of improv. This one has a very different tone from that. So, when you write for yourself, do you tend to go for a more dramatic style, or?
So I don't find much difference between drama and comedy. The best dramas have comedic elements, and the best comedies have touching moments or tension. My job as a storyteller is to define what it is based on the percentage of either that it holds at the end.
Okay.
If there's more tension and drama and touching moments, it's a drama. If there's more laughs and lightheartedness, it's a comedy. But in my mind, the beginning to end is the same.
Gotcha.
We as humans, which is the exact thing an alien would say, but we as humans, we deal with trauma through laughter and through comedy. So you can't have one without the other. And when you talk about proper pacing in a show, a play, that emotional manipulation that we have as writers over the audience, we need to be able to use all the ingredients to make that happen. And if that's making them laugh, which, quite frankly, if you're writing a drama, making them laugh is the easiest way to control your audience, because it is the most naked emotion you can have. Once you get them chuckling, you own them.
Nice.
But I write everything. I make my living as a comedy writer. A large portion of my income comes from the plays that I write. They're all comedy mysteries. But I also freelance as a writer for horror. I've worked for Realm on 2 seasons or 3 seasons of a series. Plus, I've written a couple of one-shots that are really dark comedies. Yeah, I why limit yourself?
Yeah.
You know, if you have the opportunity to write. Don't let a genre stand in your way. Don't let the subject matter stand in your way. If it's interesting to you and it touches you at the end, then it is the right genre that you're working in. I don't really care what that is. You know?
As far as the Angel, was the one you talked about, was that the only production so far, or have you had any other stage productions of that piece?
So I've had one production in my hometown of Newburyport at a 10-minute play festival that I could go see. The show itself has been produced a number of times in colleges. 10-minute shows are interesting to mount. You know, you have to hit the right festival. And this show in particular needs to have the right theme of a festival in order for it to work well. It is... it's heavy. It does really well in Halloween shows.
Yeah. That makes sense. I feel like if it's in the wrong mix, it might feel like a slap in the face to the audience.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a palate cleanser of a type.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I got a question about the ending. The ending establishes that the man does know Jack in some way because he knows his name. So, the way you wrote it, it seems like there's a couple of ways to interpret it. Is this an angel? Is it some otherworldly being? Is it the guy his wife was cheating on that just knows his name, and this is how he dresses up like a homeless person and gets his revenge that way? Or so in your head, I guess you don't have to give us a definitive answer, but did you mean to leave it kind of open?
Oh, I can give you a very definitive answer.
Oh, sure, let's hear it.
I didn't want to know.
Okay,
right.
I like it.
Yeah.
The best endings, in my opinion, when it comes to a twist, is fully ambiguous to the author, right? So the reason why I write anything is to see my work through other people's eyes. I want somebody to tell me what my show meant, especially in theater, where it is such an ephemeral art and can only exist through collaboration. right? Our shows need to be translated by the director. Our actors spend more time with the characters than we did writing them.
It's true.
Their opinions, their viewpoint in that reality is often more times more valid than our own. And none of that can exist without the translation from the experience of the audience on that single night. Every night of theater is different. Every performance is different. Every show is different. So to me, the greatest privilege of being a playwright that a person can have is hearing what the meaning of your work actually is to the people who view them. And as long as it's not hurting anybody or used for hatred, they're right. So in shows like The Angel, I don't want to know who the man is. I don't think it's important to the earlier part of the story. Where it's important is in the translation from the listener. And how they hear it was the right way to hear it. That's what's important.
Yes, I agree. That's a good answer. Good answer. All right. Good stuff. So basically, however the listener interprets it, that is the right
You
answer.
are correct.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody, right? Like, other than financial ownership, the ownership of a work is really communal.
Mm-hmm.
It should be.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Except for rights.
While the
Fair. Fair.
while the Angel, you wrote it as a stage play, but we adapted it to audio play. But you're not a stranger to audio plays. You've written a ton of audio plays, from what I understand, and even what you do with the Realm Network, with Undertow and the stuff you've done there. That's written as an audio play as well. Tell us about your experience with working with Realm and writing scripts for them.
So I had the privilege of working with the brilliant Fred Greenhalgh. And Dirk Maggs and Fred Greenhalgh are really credited, as far as I know, they're credited in bringing back the audio movie. He started at a time when most people saw podcasts as unique distractions. What Fred saw it as was a means to go back to the golden age of audio. And he and the way that he works and the way that really modern audio is moving, they're written and produced as films without film. So we use the modern screenplay format, slug lines. Jonathan, you're an audio producer.
Yeah.
You get a good slug line. That gives you everything you need to know about the environment you're designing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay. I don't know. Like, what is a slug line? What does that mean?
So for The Angel, interior, subway, night.
Okay. So
You see it- you see it-
Those three words.
Yeah.
You see it a lot in screenplays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not-
I mean,
not-
I've seen all of that before. I just didn't know it had a term, slug line.
Yeah, it's also known as a scene header. So what's interesting is for the 10-minute shows that have been requested, I usually convert them to audio for people who might want to do them as audio. The Angel is nice because it is black box staging. Other than a pile of rags in the back of the theater, there's a person standing on the apron. That's the show. There is no set. It doesn't work with a set. It works better in a black box or a dark stage. So that really helped aid in the translation from stage to audio. But working with Fred and Realm was it's amazing. We went from series design straight through to final draft in record time. And that was really, he wanted to showcase the ability and skill of main playwrights, main writers. So it was myself, Sean French, who is a comic author. He's a freelance writer. He's worked in video game design. Emma Gibbon, who's a horror writer, Morgan Sylvia, who's a horror writer. So you had a playwright and screenwriter, a screenwriter and video game writer, and 2 horror novelists. And we did the series Bible in 2 days.
Wow.
Sean and I co-wrote the first draft in 28 days. He wrote the odd episodes while I wrote the even episodes on the same day, and then we tied them together based on the outlines.
Nice.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Now, writing for audio is also taking off. There are a lot of opportunities for people who want to get into audio scripting. Production's a little bit harder to get into, but audio scripting is growing, especially with the advent of people. The pandemic was a horrible, but a blessing for audio. Right?
It was.
People were stuck in their houses.
Yeah.
They needed something to do, and they went to their phones to find that. So you had a number of audio fiction podcasts explode at the time period. You had old favorites like Welcome to Night Vale.
Oh, yeah.
Really took off. So yeah, working for Realm is amazing. We came back for the second series of Undertow Blood Forest called The Pulse. I went in for a one-shot, which is a very dark comedy called Firsts. 2022, Balderdash Academy of Comedy Ensembles created On the Air, which was a live staged radio show with completely original radio comedies. We did 3 radio series a night, but we produced, 17 90-minute full-length shows, one a month.
Wow.
And no show was repeated. So we wrote a full 90-minute show every month.
Wow.
So Balderdash Academy, that's your comedy ensemble that you co-founded. So you said that started in 2022. What did you guys do before
Academy
that?
Started in 2019 as an adult prom.
Okay.
And we created it. We started to get the assets together, and then we all got hired with the Chamber of Comedy improv ensemble. So we put it aside. Pandemic hits, the Chamber of Comedy shut down. I need to figure out how to take care of my people. So we went online and started an online celebrity comedy game show where we brought in celebrities, interviewed them. They could score any points to anyone for any reason.
Oh.
And it was a combination improv quiz show. And that ran from 2020 until 2022. And we had 2 seasons. And then we moved into an online serialized improvised sitcom when we were trying to figure out how to do improv through Zoom and found out you couldn't. So we improvised it, and then I went through and manually cut out all the breaks that happened from the delay, which can be at times up to 3 seconds, depending on how many people are online.
Yeah.
And then when the pandemic ended, we started to do live improv shows. One of the things we wanted to do, what I wanted to do, was radio shows. So on a whim, we just did it. So I called up a theater and I said, this is my idea. You want to go halves? They're like, yeah, we'll give you the space.
All right.
So, I mean, if you want to self-produce, ask, because the worst thing they're going to say is no, which means you didn't lose anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
So
it's
that,
amazing how many people want to say yes to you.
Yeah, that theater that did say yes. Do you still? I mean, are they still a good artistic space for you? Are they still a good venue?
Yeah, we run an improv jam to help them out monthly. We do. We have a really high energy multimedia improv show that is themed, that we do regularly. We still do the radio shows there frequently. I've started to produce interactive mysteries there, actually doing them on stage instead of in a restaurant setting. And we're beginning to do a quiz style show called Trivia Dash that we're working on.
Okay.
And teaching, actually beginning to bring in kids and start teaching in that realm, improv, writing, whatever they need.
Cool.
So yeah, it's a great relationship.
So let's talk about the company that you own, Sleuths Mystery Entertainment.
Yeah, I write four-scene interactive mysteries is one of the 5 products that we produce through it. So I started working for another company since 1992. And things weren't working out. I was writing most of their shows, but sometimes you just hit an impasse. So in 2019, I basically retired. While I was with them, I wanted to keep on writing for me. So I was selling my shows under Sleuths Mystery for a number of years. So when I left the company, I had my friends came to me and said, "We want to work more. Would you be willing to start a company?" So I have a hard time saying no. So I said yes. And made a deal with 2 theaters. The theater we were actually doing improv at the time. We started doing a series for them. I reached out and got a number of other locations. Then I started writing shows. That first year, I did 7 full lengths.
Wow.
To push out and sell. Since then, we've had 18 full lengths that are in rotation.
Okay.
Currently, as of today, we have about 35 that I've retired because I wrote them in the 90s. Like
They just didn't hold
none
up.
of this is relevant anymore.
This problem could be solved with a cell phone.
Well, that's part of it too, is like the realities of the world has changed so much that you need to write in plot points as to why cell phones don't work.
Yeah.
Or I've been doing that since 1992, and I love it. So the way that we do it is anything in the show can be a clue. And when a company licenses our shows, it comes with multiple endings. So let's say you have a location that runs one of these for 12 nights. You could have a different ending every night, and we supply that as part of the license. It also comes with everything you need digitally to run the show. So we deliver all the scripts digitally, all the paperwork that they'd need, just print and play. It's all set and ready to go. The advertising that has worked for us, we just give them.
That's super cool.
It's a small enough business and it's hard enough to make money that we all need to do what we can to lift each other up. Yeah. So if that means that I include what the bigger publishers charge overhead for, and that's where that's really where they make their profit, is hope you buy the color logo for production.
Right.
I just give it to you. So we have companies worldwide produce our shows, and we produce them ourselves too with my ensemble.
That's cool.
Are these traditional theaters, or are they more like production companies that are renting out conference rooms at hotels, putting together like a dinner theater type night or something like that?
It's all of it.
All of it? Yeah.
Yeah. We do a lot of fundraisers for community theaters and traditional stage theaters.
Okay.
Cool.
Every theater type. And we're lucky for that.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of black boxes run it because you can set up tables in your black box theater and do a show without a set. Yeah.
One less thing to worry about.
It's a dinner theater or it's a stage play, and there are instructions with each show on how to do it either way.
Cool.
So writing these mystery theaters and then writing stuff like The Angel, which one of those, since one of them is more with your company, which one gives you more stress when you're trying to put together scripts?
So I have ADHD, and I'm lucky for it because it is the fuel that drives my creativity. One of the things that I'm known for, and I've made a name for myself professionally, is being fast.
Yes, I was about to. I'm impressed with how fast that you write your scripts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do a full-length mystery in 4 days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that is. I can't even fathom that.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it's once I'm in that hyper focus, I can just go. What that gives me the ability to do is that if I get stuck, I don't get blocked, because I will just write through it and trust future me to go back and fix it. And I've found, and as a script consultant, I'm sure others have found the same thing. It's a lot easier to fix somebody else's work than to write your own.
Right.
But what I do is I give myself permission to do fast, bad work. And then once I'm done, that's when the real work begins. And for me, it's a lot easier to go into an existing piece and say like, oh, well, that doesn't need to be there. Or this scene needs to be moved, or this needs to be cut. It's a lot easier to see it once it's done. Right? It's easy to see what's wrong. And once you can identify what's wrong, it's easy to know how to fix it. So what I do is give myself the opportunity in the first draft to allow myself to find what's wrong.
Gotcha.
So when you write that first draft, do you let it sit for a week or two so that you can go back to it with fresh eyes as the new you looks over it?
It depends, right? If I so in the industry that I'm in, we could get booked next Friday for a show that doesn't exist yet. So I would take the weekend and write the show and then send it to the ensemble for them to learn.
Wow.
Right? That's a little different.
Yeah.
Typically what I'll do is, so I have a show opening in November 1st called Ghosted. And the theme is the murdered victim solves their own crime. So what I will do for that is next week, I'm in Ohio for an improv show, but when I come back, I will sit down and over the course of about 3 or 4 days, I'll write the show. I'll put it aside. The next week, I'll open it up, look at it, and I'll make it right and send it off for production. But yeah, it seems like it's a lot, and it seems like it's like a superpower. The truth is, it's taken me 32 years to get to this point.
Yeah.
So I remember sitting down and staring at a blank page, not knowing what to write next. I've been there, but I've just happened to find techniques to get through. There's a painter, Chuck Close, and he was talking about creativity in art. I'm a fine artist, I'm an illustrator, and I'm a graphic designer, so it's relevant to me, at least that. But for playwriting, I find what he said really valuable. And he said, inspiration is for amateurs. If you sit around and wait for lightning to strike, you're not going to get a lot of work done. Inspiration comes from the work. Inspiration is for amateurs, I think is a little inflammatory, right? But the last part of that is really valuable. Inspiration comes from the work.
Yeah.
You break writer's block by writing. Right? Or you break writer's block by walking away and going for a walk and letting your mind wander. Well, letting your mind wander is another form of writing. It's creation.
Finding a way to embrace the writer's block.
Embrace it. Use it as an
opportunity
opportunity to get through and just put anything down. That anything will eventually move itself into a scene or will move itself into either a new direction or the direction you were looking at. Either way, you're working, and from that work, you will be inspired. That's where you're going to find it. And then trust future you to fix it.
I don't know if I trust her.
I want to talk about online playwriting groups, and you started up your own, the Playwright Connection, I believe, with some fellow playwrights. And I just, out of all the online playwriting groups that I've seen, that's probably the most. That's my favorite. I love the camaraderie in there, and everyone is so helpful. It's a good place to go to get advice or just to share achievements and stuff like that. Are you still actively moderating that group?
Yeah. So September, I think of 21, there was another playwriting group that was pretty toxic.
Yes.
The owner of the, you know the one I'm talking about.
Yes, I remember.
The owner of the group, one day just took his ball and went home.
Huh.
He basically, like, you all suck, canceled the group. And I'm like, no. That day, walking out of my house to go to work, on my phone, I created the Playwright Connection based on Wheaton's law, which is don't be a dick.
It's a good one.
Right?
Good law.
Yeah.
We work in such a lonely industry. As a playwright, it is you. And if you sit at your desk and feel that you are insulated from the rest of the community, you start thinking in terms of competition. You start thinking in terms of who's better than who. And the reality is that's not theater.
Yeah.
Theater is about community and about being there for each other. And that's when I realized we didn't need a group. We needed a support group.
Yeah.
We needed a place where you could be vulnerable and ask questions you'd get ridiculed for in other groups, which never made sense to me because the person ridiculing you had the same question at one point.
Right?
Yeah.
I wanted a place where people could choose to be mentors and choose to be mentees. And if somebody's having a bad day, they could help. Or if you're a fan of another playwright, it's a place where you can go to help champion them. And because of that, we now have over 6,000 members who are there for each other. I don't know. I know how. Right off the bat, Rachel Feeney Williams came to me and said, could I moderate? And I'm like, yes. like out of the blue, Vivian Lermond. And then I get an email from one of my favorite people on earth, Dana Hall. And it was basically, how are you going to prevent this from being toxic? How are you going to prevent this from being misogynistic? How are you going to force equality? And I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I need. Would you want to be a monitor? She said yes. I lucked out. And that's all we have are our four moderators. Everything else is led by the people in the group. It's led by the members. I might have started the group. The four of us manage it, but it is wholly the property of the people in the group. We vote on everything. It's a closed group. In order to get in, you have to agree to our rules. And
Which
the
is
rules
don't be a dick.
don't be a dick. Yeah. Right. It's okay to promote yourself, promote other people, don't harass, don't talk down to people, don't belittle. If you think somebody has a stupid question, answer it anyway.
Yeah.
That's
right?
the easy route anyway.
It's only stupid because you know it.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know how we managed to get more than 6,000 people and not have it turn into a toxic cesspool, but
That's wonderful.
I don't know.
Well, you guys are doing
It's working.
you guys are doing great work, and like I said, it's one of my favorite groups to go in and just check on and see what everyone else is doing, because we get to know each other in there. A lot of us playwrights and new people are joining all the time with great questions that I didn't know that I wanted to ask as well. But then when I see it asked, I'm just like, oh, that's a good question. I should have asked that years ago, stuff like that.
So, yeah. My whole goal is to try to tear down walls and make this a more accessible art.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
So you're a playwright that's active on the New Play Exchange. So
I am.
One thing I like to ask all my New Play Exchangers is who's a playwright that you recently read? Not necessarily your favorite, but what's a work you recently read that you can give them a shout out so that everyone out there and even myself and Devin here can go check it out.
I really enjoyed Randy Hunt's Pinky and Sheila. So Randy Hunt is one of my favorite playwrights. He's kind. He does kind comedy, but he's not like Pollyanna kind comedy. It's just he's funny without being mean. His 10 minutes are fantastic. Refracted Light from Dana Hall.
I've actually read that one. That is a great script. Great script.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there are so many good playwrights on NPS. If anybody needs a personal recommendation, just hit me up and I will give it. Yeah, the problem is I'm a fan. Right?
What's that a problem?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard though, because I get to fanboy about some of my favorite writers. And then it's kind of cool to then be able to actually, talk to my favorite writers in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I have a long short list, unfortunately.
That's okay. That's okay. Now, you named off a bunch of works that you have coming up. Do you have any other upcoming productions that you want to plug while you're here that you hadn't mentioned yet?
Yeah. Ghosted premieres November 1st at Somerset Abbey in Madison, Maine. Balderdash Academy's On the Air, which is a vintage style radio comedy, starts its second season in a month or two.
Okay. And Balderdash Academy, is that a YouTube channel that people can go see this?
Balderdash Academy. So if you go to any podcast
okay,
and type in Balderdash Academy, we have 3 shows.
All right.
We also have a YouTube channel with the game show.
All right, so everyone out there listening, check out Balderdash Academy. If you're a playwright, or even if you're just in a theater and you're an aspiring playwright, get on the Facebook group Playwright Connection, which is moderated by Robert J. LeBlanc here, as well as some other fabulous playwrights. So hey, man, thanks for being here.
Yes.
Keep creating and doing all that cool stuff. You do so much cool stuff.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes
I
out.
like it.
All right, well, we'll catch you next time, and hopefully we can collaborate again in the future.
I look forward to it.
Thank you all for listening, and if you are associated with a theater and you would like to produce the play you heard today on your stage, send an email to gatherbytheghostlight@gmail.com to get connected with the playwright. And if you'd like to continue to help us grow and you want more video content, please subscribe to the Gather by the Ghostlight channel on YouTube. And guess what? We have merchandise. Yes, t-shirts are available at the merchandise link in the show notes, and you can also find the Gather by the Ghostlight annual companion books available at Amazon. Intro and outro music, as always, is provided by artist JK47, and the cover art for this episode was provided by photographer Andew Lynch. And if you enjoy this podcast, maybe you're a longtime listener, or maybe this is the first episode you've ever heard, let us know. Please leave us a rating or a review in all the places that you can. That kind of activity, it really does help us get discovered by more listeners like you. And also be sure to follow Gather by the Ghostlight on social media to stay up to date on new episodes. I'm Jonathan Cook, and as always, stay safe, and I'll see you next time we Gather by the Ghostlight.